Big Ten play opens up again, and it's a good way to open up 2024. Two teams that would like a quality win square off inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. The Indiana Hoosiers and the Nebraska Cornhuskers on KRNU. Welcome to Lincoln. I'm Bobby Hessling alongside Beck Frazier. This is already a big game for each of these teams because if you're Indiana, you could be 3-0 in conference play with a quality road win. And if you're Nebraska, you get a win over a very solid Indiana team, Beck. Indiana wearing their typical red jerseys, which is a crimson color with Indiana across the chest, white numbers. Indiana is in white. For Nebraska, a little bit of a throwback type, say. White jerseys, red numbers. Nebraska across the top part of the numbers, and then underneath the numbers will be Cornhuskers in red. Indiana and Nebraska on the 3rd of January, and it is a big-time Big Ten matchup right here on KRNU. Bobby Hessling, Beck Frazier will bring you all the action throughout the course tonight. Cam Nacone is back in our studio, and from Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's not a sellout, but with everyone standing, it's awfully close to it. Students are still on break. Winter break goes for the next 3 weeks or so, and this is going to be a fun atmosphere here tonight. Indiana and Nebraska. Khalil Ware stands at 7'1". He will be jumping for the Hoosiers. And Bryce Williams at 6'7" will jump for Nebraska. And from Pinnacle Bank Arena, away we go. Ware wins the tip, and Indiana controls the basketball first. Xavier Johnson has the basketball. Bounce pass over to Trey Galloway. Indiana going right to left inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. Pass down low to Ware, and he lays it in for two. First game back, and it's the easy lay-in off the glass. Getting the assist was Malik Renew. That's a big-time tandem down low. Nebraska with the basketball. Rink Mass at the top of the key, guarded by Khalil Ware. Bryce Williams, right elbow jumper on the right side of the floor, knocks it down.
Yeah, great start for both of these teams. With Nebraska, going to take those further deep shots because that's what they like to do.
2-2 ball game, 19-15 left. Indiana going right to left, Nebraska left to right. Malik Renew in the left corner dishes it off to Galloway. Galloway down low. Khalil Ware, right-hand jumper, hits the back iron and falls in. Indiana up 4-2. Mass will inbound to Jamarcus Lawrence, and Jamarcus Lawrence will bring it across the timeline. Xavier Johnson picks him up at midcourt. Mast over to Juwan Gary at the left wing, over to Tominaga, who is wearing a headband tonight. Now Rink Mass at the top of the key. Jamarcus Lawrence in the right wing, smothered by Xavier Johnson. Xavier Johnson, very aggressive defender. He has to watch out for foul trouble. Rink Mass top of the key, trying to drive inside on Khalil Ware. Right hand, knocks it down. Already a battle down low.
Yeah, these teams going back and forth in the paint so far. Not exactly what we expected from Nebraska, but they're at least attempting to try and win those battles in the paint.
Xavier Johnson holds the ball at the logo, passes off to his left side. Mackenzie Mbako for three, and he knocks it down, and Indiana's on top 7-4. Knocking down threes is big, and Indiana, with especially Mackenzie Mbako, he can do that time and time again. The last week shot 37% in his way to a Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Bryce Williams on the right wing, guarded by Mbako. Bounce pass went to Mast. Mast hit the deck, has to go somewhere with it. It's a bounce pass over to Juwan Gary. Indiana fans thought there might have been a backcourt violation. Tominaga, deep three with 7 seconds left on his shot clock. Can't knock it down. Rebound is a foul called on Mast. It's going down the other way with Indiana. Mast, I thought, had won the rebound. Rather gets called for a foul. Just a very ugly possession from Nebraska. Results in a Indiana turnover. Indiana will need to keep the turnovers down tonight if they want to win the ball game. As Xavier Johnson checks out, and Gabe Cupps, the freshman, will check in. Gabe Cupps has had to start a whole lot of games with the absence of Xavier Johnson this season. A very aggressive defender. And the comparison I give him is Brad Davison and Jordan Bohannon. Players that will be just absolute defensive pests that can shoot a three. There's a turnover. Khalil Ware down the floor. He also loses it. Another turnover. Back-to-back turnovers, essentially in the span of 30 seconds from both teams. Juwan Gary on the right wing. Keisei Tominaga guarded by Cupps. Three from the top of the key. Knocks it down. Nebraska evens it at 9 thanks to Keisei Tominaga with 15:40 left in the opening half.
So that was Nebraska's first three of the game. Currently 1 for 4 from three, so a little unusual for them to be 1 for 4 so far.
Trey Galloway Left wing pass is tipped, stolen by Bryce Williams. Down the floor, leaning into Mbako, and we got a foul call. And it's going to go on Indiana. I believe it goes on Mackenzie Mbako, and that will be his second. We've got a timeout on the floor. Indiana, Nebraska tied at 9, 15-21 left here on KRNU. Indiana 5 first half turnovers in the first 7 minutes. Hoiberg down the floor to the hoop, and he lays it in off the window. Finishing through Gabe Cupps, and Indiana quickly back down the floor. Trey Galloway at the right wing. Now slows it. Gives it off to Caleb Banks. Caleb Banks back in the hands of Gabe Cupps in the left wing. Cupps guarded by Hoiberg. Down low, Anthony Walker thought about a mid-range jumper, doesn't take it. Right-hand skyhook off the glass. It was a bad shot as he was falling to the ground. Mike Woodson unhappy with that. Hoiberg down the floor. Now stops at the right elbow. Bounce pass over to Mass at the top of the key. Mass dribbles to his left. Gives it off. C.J. Wilcher spot up three from the top of the key. He knocks it down as well.
Yeah, so Nebraska starting 0 for 3 from 3, but now 2 for 3 since.
Nebraska's on a 7-0 run the last minute and a half, and you can hear it inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. Cupps guarded by Hoiberg. Caleb Banks at the left wing, guarded by C.J. Wilcher. Pass down low, Renew driving inside, lost it, another Indiana turnover. Wilcher hit the deck, out of bounds, Indiana basketball. Wilcher had the ball on the ground, slid out of bounds. They thought there could have been a foul called there. There is not, and that will take us to our second media timeout. Nebraska on top of Indiana, 18-13, 12 minutes left in the first half here on KRNU. Second half ready to begin. Nebraska will start with the basketball. They are now going right to left. Indiana will go left to right. Nebraska still wearing the white jerseys with red numbers, with red Nebraska across the top part of the number and Cornhuskers below the number. Rink Mass down low. Shot was altered by Ware. Ware grabs the miss. And Xavier Johnson will bring it across the timeline for Indiana. Nebraska leads 41-33 to open up the second half of action here on KRNU. Down low, Malik Renew. He's been quiet tonight. Try to finish through contact, could not. Rink Mass grabs the rebound. That's his third. Down the floor is Tominaga across the timeline. Tominaga trying to drive inside him. Mbako cannot. Rink Mass at the top of the key. Thought about a handoff, didn't take it. Now swings it out. Bryce Williams, right wing three. Knocks it down. 11-point lead for Nebraska, 44-33 with 19 minutes left in the second half.
So Williams is now 3 for 3 with 9 points on the night.
And Bryce Williams 1 for 1 from three-point land as well. That was his first make of the night. Trey Galloway at the left wing, guarded by Jamarcus Lawrence. Smothered by Lawrence, got it to Mbako, who's at the top of the key. Shot clock is down to 5. Malik Renew down low, has to go somewhere with it before the shot clock expires. Ball hits the deck, and it's a steal for Nebraska. Another Indiana turnover. They're up to 10. Down the floor, Keisei Tominaga, mid-range jumper from the left corner, knocks it down. Veteran Fred Hoiberg drew up at halftime, is working. 13-point lead for Nebraska. Timeout, Indiana. Indiana and Nebraska team compared to last year's. Keisei Tominaga lays it in off the cutting basket, and it's a, again, 20-point lead, 75-55. But the Indiana defense has been poor tonight as Trey Galloway knocks down a three from the right wing, making 75-58. Allowing 75 to Nebraska, 5 minutes left as Nebraska brings it down the floor. Josiah Alec at left wing. He has it tapped in the air. Tominaga comes away with it. His three on the way. Knocks it down! Could have gotten called on a foul as well. He won't, and it's 78-58. Keisei Tominaga has 26 points tonight.
He is 8 for 13, 6 for 7 from the free throw line, and 4 for 9 from 3. He has been tearing apart this Hoosier defense.
Pass inside to Ware was too long. It goes out of bounds. Whenever Keisei Tominaga's parents are here, he plays like a different person. He plays like the Big Ten All-American selection that he is. Nebraska wins it 86-70. And a big-time conference win for Nebraska. They are now 2-1 in conference play and are 12-2. this season. Indiana falls to 10-4, another road loss. Indiana has a chance to rebound on Saturday. Nebraska has a chance to improve on Saturday, 86-70. And Beck, quick hits right here. Indiana had a lot of turnovers. The final score, 86-70. Nebraska wins it as PBA clears out. Tough loss for Indiana. Very, very impressive win for Nebraska. All around, very solid effort. Keisei Tominaga finishes with 28 points. Here are your leaders on the night. Keisei Tominaga finished with 28 points. Bryce Williams, 15 points. CJ Wilcher finished with 11 points. Very big first half. Went quiet in the second half. Left the game with an apparent injury. We are not sure what it is. Jamarcus Lawrence also 12 points. Nebraska was 12 for 32 from three, 37% from three-point land. For Indiana, Khalil Ware, 20 points, 14 points from Malik Renew, 10 points from Trey Galloway, and 6 points from Mackenzie Mbako. Indiana was 9 of 18 from three, which is the equivalent of 50%. Indiana had 19 turnovers. Nebraska had 8. That was a very big story. 11 more turnovers for the Hoosiers than the Cornhuskers. Made a massive difference. 15 steals for Nebraska as well, which included 4 from Bryce Williams and 4 from Jamarcus Lawrence. Indiana only had 5, and 2 of those steals came from Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware finished with a double-double, had 20 and 10 rebounds for him. He was the only Hoosier with 10 rebounds, only player in the game with 10 rebounds as well. Josiah Alec led the Huskers in rebounds with 8. Final score, 86-70. For Camden Cohn back in the studio making this all possible. For Beck Frazier on my left, who did an excellent job tonight, I am Bobby Hessling. Next broadcast is Saturday at 1 p.m. from Madison, Nebraska, and Wisconsin on KRNU. But that will do it here tonight from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nebraska wins it 86-70 over Indiana from Pinnacle Bank Arena.